Hello, my name is Deacon Hayes. I have a site called wellkeptwallet.com, and today I want to talk to you about how I grew my organic traffic 3,961% in less than a year. And that might actually look different than what's on your bulletin because I actually went back and looked at the numbers and it was higher than what that number was, so I just updated it so it was accurate. But as you can see, back in January of last year, we only had 13,000 visitors to the site from Google. In January this year, we had 533,000 visitors just from Google alone, which is crazy. And so that's really what I'm going to share with you today. But before we get into that, I think it's important to kind of tell you my story, kind of where I came from. So when my wife and I got married, we had $52,000 in debt. And that was a lot of debt. And so we decided, hey, let's put together a plan. Let's figure this out, paid off in a short period of time. And we were able to pay off 52 grand in just 18 months. And I don't know about you, I was selling wood flooring at the time and I was super excited. I was like, I would rather do personal finance and like figure that out. So in 2010, I started the site, wellkeptwallet.com. And really, I just wanted to help others. There was no idea of growing search traffic or turning it into a business. It was really just how many people can I help get out of debt, develop a plan to better their families. But to give you kind of a guideline of the traffic, it wasn't until 2016 when I started getting traffic from Google. So how many of you can relate that you've had your site for a while and you haven't gotten a lot of traffic for a number of years, right? Yeah, see, it's very common where you're like, hey, I just want to help people. I just want to create a site and let's see what happens, right? See what the impact is. Well, in 2016, I started really kind of focusing more on SEO and understanding that. In 2017, we doubled the organic visitors. So went from 6,000 visitors to 13,000. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's amazing, right? To double your organic traffic. From 2017 to 2018, we grew at 3,700%. So it was from 13,000 visitors a month to 500,000 visitors a month, which was just insane, right? I'm like, I still don't even believe it right now. If you pinch me, I'd be like, is this real? But we'll really talk about how did we do it, right? So we'll talk about search engine optimization specifically because that was the key, right, to get organic traffic from Google. I implemented what I learned. I think a lot of us, we read books and we listen to podcasts and we watch videos and we're like, this is great stuff, but then we never do anything with it, right? So I actually implemented what I learned. And then I got rid of distractions. That's the other thing. We have this syndrome called shiny object syndrome, right? It's like, oh my gosh, someone's killing it in Pinterest. Like, I'm gonna go do that. Someone's killing it in video. I'm gonna do that. I was like, you know what? This is working for us. So I'm gonna move those things aside and really focus on what's working for us. And to do that, I really got into the nitty gritty. Like, what are the basics of search engine optimization, right? So there's this metric called domain authority. It's created by Moz. It's a scale of 1 to 100, and it basically says, how authoritative is your site in Google? And so there's actually, I think they actually updated it. It's a Moz Link Explorer. It might be called something differently now. But you can go in today and see what your authority is for your website. And why this is important is if you're starting out, you don't want to try to compete with really authoritative sites that have, a 90 domain authority, right? You're going to look for people that are similar to where you are in the domain authority spectrum. So that's what we did. And then I focus on what I call the 7 pillars of SEO. And so the first one is thorough content. I think a lot of us, we write content that, is interesting to us, but it's not really in depth. It's not really answering all the questions, and it leaves the readers wanting. And so really thorough content is key. The second pillar is going to be links. So this is going to be not only external links coming to your site, but also internal linking. We'll talk about that. And then proper structure of the site, right? There's so many nuances to how a site is structured. It doesn't have to be complicated, so we're going to break that down simply. Optimizing page speed. So how many of you love a site that takes forever to load? Yeah, one person, Tracy. So nobody does, right? So the idea is making your site load fast, optimizing that. Then number 5, removing poor content. You've probably written things 4 years ago that you're like, oh my gosh, I cringe when I read that, right? So really go back and get rid of that poor content or update it. Number 6, produce quality, not quantity. You hear these things like, oh, you got to publish every day or once a week or, once a month, whatever it is. It's not about frequency as much as it is quality, right? Google wants to serve up the best resource for the user's query, right? So if you have the best resource, then you're likely to rank regardless of how often you publish. And then number 7, which is kind of, I think, a little unknown, which is improve your CTR, which is your click-through rate. So these are all the things that we did. We'll go through these step by step. So the old minimum was 500 words, right? You got an idea, you get excited. I was excited, like how to get out of debt, right? Well, 500 words isn't going to get anybody anywhere. So we really had to be authoritative. And you say, okay, well, what's the first thing they need to do? Well, they need to create a budget. Okay, well, what's the next thing they need to do? Well, then they need to create a list of their debts, right? And you just kind of go through, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I think our get out of debt post is 3,000, 4,000 words, right? When you try to create that very thorough content. The new minimum is 2,400, and that actually comes from a study that Neil Patel did. And he said 85% of people that write content is under 1,000 words, right? So the top 15% is going to be above 1,000 words. And the sweet spot really was that 1,000 to 2,000 word range, but only 1% of people are doing 2,000 to 3,000. So if you want to be in the top 1%, this is an easy way to do it, right? Just write 2,400, 2,500 words. The second thing was links, right? And this can be really hard when you're starting out because nobody knows who you are and you got to get established. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then the other thing that you can control, anybody control, is the links within your site, right? You need to tell Google about what's on your site. So you got to link to relevant pages. Every time you're talking about a piece of content that you have within your site, make sure you link to it. The easiest ways to get external links are going to be guest posting. You just came to FinCon and there's 2,000 people here, right? You develop relationships and you say, hey, you know, it was great. I just met you. You know, will you call me maybe? No. Well, basically say, hey, can I put a guest post on your site? And you know, maybe do an exchange. Like, hey, if I guest post on yours, you can guest post on mine. So really, it's this collaboration, right? Figuring out ways that you can get your name out there is huge. Another one is called help a reporter out. So this is very cool. Reporters actually want to hear from you, right? That you guys are financial experts or personal finance experts or financial advisors, whatever you are, they need you for their stories. And so this service is free. You can sign up for it. They'll email you 3 times a day, and you can just look at what these reporters are writing about, and then you can respond. And so that's a great way to get links to your site. Another thing you can do is reach out to publications. You can say, hey, I was featured over here. Would you want to write something similarly? So you reach out to the MSN Moneys, the Yahoo Finances, the Business Insiders, whatever, and you'd be surprised. And then the other thing is broken link detection. So this is a little bit more advanced for you that know kind of how to discover broken links and things like that. You can run reports through tools like SEMrush or see where they have broken links and say, hey, you know what? I noticed that you were linking to this resource and that link's broken. And I actually wrote a post that's much better than that, or you don't want to brag, but just say, hey, that's really good. Would you mind linking to that instead? So that could be a way to get external links. Internal links, this is my favorite because you can really do something today, right? You can start to audit your content and say, hey, am I really linking to other content within our site? And if not, I recommend you do at least 3 to a given post. And then you don't do the same thing every time, right? You don't put get out of debt, get out of debt, get out of debt. You vary the anchor text. And I also would say avoid key-rich anchor text. And what I mean is that exact phrase, right? You could say, when we got out of debt, that's your anchor text, or you know, some of the best tips to get out of debt. So you really vary it up. You need to kind of give Google an idea of what to expect when people are going to go to that page. Another important thing is the structure of the content. And so this is key because I think really we just want to publish, right? We want to get the word out there. We want to help people, but really kind of developing systems around, hey, no, I want long-term traffic. I want long-term growth. And so making sure that you have the right things in place. So a short URL structure. So the URL is when you look in the bar in Google or Chrome and it says wellkeptwallet.com/get out of debt, right? You don't want to say like 15 ways to get out of debt in the summer of 2018 in the next millennium or whatever. You really keep it short. Also, make the text digestible on the page, right? I don't know if you know this. I challenge any of you right now. I don't want you to look at your cell phones right now, but if you're to look at your website it could look like a sea of text, right? Because on a desktop, it could look great, but on a mobile device, it looks like a sea of text. So really, you want to kind of start to focus on how can I put bullet points in my text to kind of break it up and make it better on a mobile device? How can I bold key points so it makes it easier for people to scan and read? Use tables on the site. So if you're comparing things or you've got numbers, it's very helpful to have tables. Having one H1 tag. So H1 tag is like the title. It's the main idea of your post, right? So it's usually the first thing you see. So sometimes, when you're not really focused on SEO, you might use an H1 title for every single headline, right? You don't want to do that. You just want to have one. And then using subheaders, so H2s, H3, it's basically kind of this outline, right? Like high school English where you're like, okay, I've got my main point, then I've got sub points. So we just call those header 1, header 2, header 3. And this is a big deal as of this year, is increasing page speed. Google rolled out something called mobile first indexing, and they really want sites to load fast and have a really good user experience. And so there's a site you can go to called webpagetest.org, and you can test your page speed. I was shocked that some of our pages were taking 13 seconds to load, because you've got sidebars and images and plugins and all this stuff that can really weigh the site down. So you're going to want to go through and kind of dissect. Do I need that plugin? Do I need the sidebar? Do I need images? There's a cool thing if you use, just go to Google PageSpeed Insights, and you can put in whatever page you're looking at, and Google will automatically optimize all the images on that page so they're the smallest size possible and not lose resolution, and it will save you millions of hours. So really doing stuff like that. So the goal is to be less than 3 seconds, but optimally, if you could load in less than a second, you're going to have that edge, right, to the competition. The other thing is, like we talked about a little bit earlier, is removing poor content. We would just publish stuff because we thought, hey, this was important to us at the time, but we didn't have search in mind. We didn't have, making money with the website. We're just like, hey, these are my thoughts, publish, right? So really going back and saying, okay, how can I make that better? How can I add word count to it? Look for articles that compete. Over the years, I've written 10 different posts about getting out of debt, right? So really going through and saying, hey, are these competing with one another? Maybe combining those posts or removing some. And if I'm gonna leave it up there for some reason, if I have Pinterest traffic or whatever, you can use what's called a no index tag. And that basically just tells Google, hey, here is the original get out of debt post, but I don't want you to crawl that one. I want you to just focus on this one. So you can keep both of those pages live and not affect your search traffic. And you can also consider no indexing your categories. Not a lot of traffic going there, really honing in on your sitemap. I know some of this stuff can be technical, but I'm gonna try to break it down to you so it's a little bit easy to do. We also talked about quality, not quantity. There was this technique called keyword stuffing back in the day, right? And so people would say, I'm gonna write the same thing over and again, right? Make money, make money, make money, money, and they would break, right? The reality is that you just can't do that. So you have to use semantic keywords, right? And that's basically words that are very similar. So like vehicle, auto, car, those are all semantic keywords. You don't have to say the same thing over and over again. We talked about the C of your paragraphs, really breaking down like 3 or 4 lines, right? Because on a desktop, like we said, it's gonna look good, but it looks much better if you just have 3, 4 lines, paragraph break. It makes the content easier to digest. And talked about that mobile-friendly experience. How many of you have email pop-ups? Okay, only a few of you, that's great. Well, this isn't an email marketing course, this is an SEO course. So for me, I would go to a website and all of a sudden, I haven't even read anything. Email pop-up, sign up for my newsletter, exit out. Push notification pop-up. Like, I don't know what I'm reading yet, exit out, right? Like, oh, ad, I'm like, I can't even read the content, right? Google wants people to be able to have a good experience. It's not a good user experience. So really look at those things and kind of evaluate. Maybe you wait 45 seconds for an email pop-up. Maybe you don't have it at all. Maybe you wait for that push notification, right? So really consider the user's experience, especially on mobile device. That's huge. And then the other thing is click-through rate, right? So if Google's got 3 results and more people are clicking on the 3rd result than the 1st result, what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna move the 3rd result up to the top because they're saying people are clicking on this result more for some reason, right? And the way that you can kind of focus on that, and this has been a game changer for us, is adding power words to your description and to your title. So examples are like quick. So let's just say, here are 7 quick ways to make money today, right? Quick and today are power words. There's something that's gonna get people to click on it, right? The only problem is you need to be able to deliver. I saw this one about like, it was from the hurricane. It was like mosquitoes swarm like in an alien movie. And then I click on it and I watch the video and there is no mosquito swarm. And I'm like, you totally just clickbaited me, right? Like, so if you use power words and you're really kind of incentivizing people to come, really deliver on what you're gonna bring. This is the other part that can be hard is keyword research, right? It can be, what do I write about? And so there's a free Chrome extension called Keyword Everywhere, and it will help you find the search volume so you can actually see, are people actually searching for this idea that I have? Using Google Suggests or Google Autocomplete, we'll show that in a second. Turn on the Moz bar. Moz bar is another Chrome extension, which is free. I love free stuff. We're at a financial blogger conference, so like less is more, right? And then wordcounter.net to check the word count of a page. So we'll kind of walk through that real quick. So first, Google Autocomplete, right? So if you start typing something, you're like, hey, I know that we're gonna talk about saving money. And you type ways to save money, Google will actually show you things that people are searching for. And oh, hey, we're in Orlando, so it showed me people are ways to save for, Disney World 2017. So Google is smart. And so now you could say, hey, here's 10 ideas that I could actually write about, and then I wanna see if people are actually searching for them. So there's this tool called Keywords Everywhere that we talked about that shows you that this is for free international calls. This is one that I thought there's just a lot of search volume. And you basically say, 40,000 people are searching for that. That might be worth writing, right? And then the Moz bar, we talked about domain authority at the very beginning and getting that kind of foundation of, what is the authority of the site. So here's a site that has a 5 domain authority, which tells me that this topic might be something that's worthwhile to go after. So really kind of looking for those key opportunities of, other competition that's similar to your domains that you can rank for. Lastly, there's word count. Like we talked about, the average study of ranking pages on the first page is 2,400 words. So if you can write posts in that range, it's gonna help. I pulled in this one for saving money tips, and it has 9,500 words. So the reality is you're gonna have to write a lot of content to compete in that. So that will give you kind of this idea of, hey, is it worth the time or is it not? And then you kind of just move on to the next idea. And that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you guys coming. Does anybody have any questions?